Hey, creative writing. Happy Monday. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope that you got outside and did something creative and stayed busy. By the sounds of it, you all are finding a lot of different ways to keep yourselves occupied, which is great. Giving me a lot of really good ideas too, because I'm running out of my own ideas. Uh, Today, we are going to be doing something I find really interesting, which is a personality test. There's a chance that you've taken this one before. If so, that's okay. I actually think that sometimes answers can change and personalities can change. And so I'll talk a little bit about that today. But that's our task. So it's Monday, April 6th, 2020. 16 personalities test is what we're taking. So maybe you have opinions about personality tests. Maybe whenever you take strengths tests or personalities tests, you don't agree with the results. That is fair. Sometimes the questions are uh, biased or, black or white, or not really diving into the nuances of a human being and the spectrum that we fall on in terms of personalities and things like that. And that's okay. This is certainly not to box anyone in. That's the last thing I want to do. But I do think that personality tests can allow you to be a little bit more self-aware, and just kind of look inward. And I think that's something that we're all doing a lot of right now, whether we know it or not, because we're spending so much time by ourselves. And so I find it really useful not only to understand myself more, but to understand people in my life more, and to understand my partner and our relationship and why we butt heads over certain things, or why my mom and I butt heads over certain things, why I'm more sensitive when people say certain things to me. It can be really insightful and really helpful. And so this is something that I want us to experience today. All right. So the 16 personalities test is also known as the Myers-Briggs Test. And I really like this one. This is one that I first took when I started my previous job in marketing right out of college. And at that time, I was actually an ENFJ, which is extroverted. And now as I've gotten older, I've become more introverted, which is actually pretty common. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's an evolution thing, but I definitely like to keep to myself a little bit more, especially after a crazy day at school. And so I'm an INFJ, which means that I'm an advocate. And so some of my strengths are that I'm creative, inspiring, and determined. And some of my challenges is that I'm sensitive, perfectionist, and susceptible to burnout, which are so true. I think my fiance would definitely say I'm incredibly sensitive. I have a lot of emotions, and that's okay. But it's something I'm always trying to be self-aware of. Is just if somebody pokes me or says something to me, I tend to blow it out of proportion or make meaning of it that isn't true. Um, I'm definitely a perfectionist. I want to be good at everything I do, and that can lead me to burnout, especially in education. You could do this job all day, every day, and still not be done. And so, what I've learned by taking tests like this is I'm like, oh, I see that in myself. I get why I struggle with that, or why I'm really good at this. And it just kind of points those things out for me, so that when somebody does say something to me and I'm like, ooh, I'm being really sensitive right now, I got to give them a break. That's not on them, that's on me. And it just allows me to have healthier relationships. And it also helps me to figure out what my strengths are so that I can use them, which creative, inspiring, and determined are good strengths for a teacher and also for a writer. So today, what I want you to be doing is I want you to take the test that's posted on Google Classroom, and I want you to read more about your 5-letter personality. You're going to be able to dive into how that personality impacts relationships, work, creativity, in your day-to-day. And ultimately, once you're done exploring, I want you to record 3 strengths and personal challenges on a separate piece of paper and just keep that ready for tomorrow, because we're going to use it for a writing prompt tomorrow. If you're at all interested, I know you've got a lot of time on your hands and self-exploration could be a way that you use it right now. this is the test that we are taking together. So you just take the test here. The other test that I've taken before that I enjoy, the Enneagram personality test, is pretty interesting. And it gives you a number, and then it tells you what numbers you work best with or should date, or it also helps you figure out like how to solve conflict with certain numbers. And then the other one is called the Gallup Strengths Finder. This one I believe might cost money, so try to find a free version of that if it's available. But this one tells you what your strengths are and how to use those strengths. So personality tests, another thing we can dive into, and we will be talking more about this tomorrow. All right,